Good morning. It's morning of day 2, and as you can probably hear, it's still drippy and raining. I think it's supposed to be cloudy, rainy, thunderstorms this afternoon. Overall, it was a pretty good night last night, even though I got into camp really late. I didn't make it as far as I wanted to do. This trail was very rocky, very difficult, and I went slower than I normally go, and I'm not a fast hiker to begin with. The trail's actually pretty easy this morning. It's a little bit rocky in places, but not bad at all, and really not a whole lot of elevation change. I know that's going to change in a little bit here. I'm going to be going up another ascent to get up to the ridge again, but so far, good trail. And the only issue was that I already took a spider web to the face. But I don't think that's going to be the last one. I think that's probably going to happen quite a bit on this trail. The most difficult thing about backpacking on the East Coast, I think, is going to be when it's raining and you have to put on cold, wet clothes in the morning. Yesterday I was so soaked, I might as well have been swimming through the forest because all the undergrowth was just soaked too, and there's no way to stay dry in that. So put on cold, wet clothes this morning. But what are you gonna do? You gotta keep moving. So I just came to the Beach Gap Trail where it crosses the Tuscarora and Massanutten Trail. It's trailblazed yellow. There's a shelter a little bit off to the right. So what's really cool about this trail is actually that it's on Morgan's Road, and that comes through the gap from Fort Valley, and that road was actually built by a guy named Daniel Morgan, and he was under orders from George Washington. George Washington was thinking about doing a winter encampment for the Continental Army using this road. So for you history buffs out there, I think that's so awesome. This part of the world just has so much of that Revolutionary War history, and it's kind of exciting. First stream crossing, and this is going to be our last water source that's reliable, and for like 16 miles, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up. Okay, I'm still on the George Washington Road, and it's a pretty steep road, and I'm kind of out of breath. I don't usually film on the uphills because it just makes me look like I'm out of shape, which I am, but you guys aren't supposed to know that. Alright, so we made it up the steepest part of the climb, I think, and this is where the Tuscarora Trail separates from the Massanutten Trail. And if you take the Tuscarora Trail, you will be in Shenandoah National Park in just about 7 miles. But we're going to go that way. It's a nice misty morning up here on the mountaintop. Well, I just joined the Milford Gap Trail, which is blazed white, and I see that somebody has left a water cache right here by this campsite. Some super awesome person. Thank you to whoever did this. I'm only going to take a little bit, but that was really, really an awesome thing to do. Thank you. So I'm a fairly new backpacker. This is only my 4th trip. I've only done 3 before, and they were like, 1 to 2 day trips. And so this one, is considerably further than that. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this trip was because I'm considering doing like 1,000 miles on the Appalachian Trail next year. And that's a big undertaking for somebody who hasn't really ever done very much backpacking. So one of the reasons I came out here on the Massanutten Trail was to kind of test myself, to see if this is something that I really want to do, and to test some of the gear that I have. And again, like, I'm new to the East Coast, and I've never backpacked in this type of terrain, this type of weather. It's all new to me. So it's a little bit of a training hike, a test hike, if you will. Actually, my husband and I went to a class the other day at REI. They have classes. Sometimes this one was about the Appalachian Trail, about equipment and food and all that kind of stuff. And the guy who taught it did a really good job. But the whole time I was sitting there thinking, like, I already have all the gear that he's talking about. I already know most of the stuff that he's talking about. And so I have the knowledge, but it kind of made me feel like a poser because I have all that knowledge, I have the gear, but I've actually not been out doing trails before. So it's kind of embarrassing. But you gotta start somewhere. So I'm starting on the Massanutten Trail. If anybody knows what this type of lichen is, please feel free to leave it in the comments. This is the Sawtooth Ridge section, and it's a pretty steep incline, and then some downhills, and then some more uphills, and all very rocky, but it's absolutely gorgeous up here. And you can hear the birds are just singing. Super happy that I'm actually getting a couple views today. That ridge way over there is Shenandoah National Park, and again, that's the Shenandoah River down there. Alright, well, this is home for the night. It's supposed to start raining again shortly, so I'm just gonna eat and get dry in my tent.